Hi, so let me introduce myself. My name is John Sands. I'm with Moraine Valley Community College. I'm also with the CSSIA Center for System Security and Information Assurance out of Moraine Valley Community College. I've been there 26 years, and I'm the department chair for the Computer Integrated Technologies programs. So, and what I want to share with you today is something we've been working on for quite a while now, about 5 years. How many of you have had problems with your career advising for IT? Okay, so what are some of the problems?
We have parallel programs, one in IT and one in ICS. And students don't know which one and our advisors
May not know either. May not know either, right? If everyone has had that. I mean, how many have had career advisors that share multiple programs?
here.
I mean, they made a decision on ours. Our career advisors cover all of our career programs, right?
Yeah. Are your career advisors separate from the counselors?
No, we have a department where both are done in the same.
Right. Yeah, I think of the counselors, they don't know the field enough, but they don't know.
Your problems be right there. You got to open the door.
Oh, is that one locked too?
So here's the problems we ran into, and I just heard some of them.
But the knowledge of the career counselors, and I'm not blaming career counselors, they have a very difficult job trying to know all of these different areas of specialization.
Only 2,000 students.
Exactly. I mean, it's a very difficult job. But what I found is it was impacting the student experience, it was impacting our enrollment, it was impacting even, I would say, our retention. I'll explain why. So, I mean, it impacts almost everything within your program. One of the things I find is the specialization area. If you were to ask one of our career counselors what a pen tester was or what a NAC administrator was, they had no idea. I mean, they couldn't tell a student anything about those things. They had no idea of any of the areas of specialization that were occurring in the IT area. And we did try, we've done a lot in trying to educate our career counselors, but it was a never-ending task because it changes every other year, and trying to keep them up to date was a really difficult challenge. Credentials, certifications, what types of credentials are needed for different types of jobs? And are there different credentials that are needed for different types of jobs? If you were to ask me, I would say yes. There are definitely delineations of, if you're going to go into this type of job, you are definitely going to need these types of credentials. When you go into this type of job, you may need other types of credentials. And again, it was a very difficult thing for them to try to keep up with. And to be honest, that's what pushed me over the edge. At this point, I was like, all right, we got to do something about it. Because we had a student go in and wanted to know, this was back in the Novell days, where they could take C&E courses, and they sent them to the nursing department. So that was it. I had said, okay, we got to do something about this. This was getting out of control. Right? Dual credit opportunities. How many of your students were taking dual credit courses, and if they wanted to transfer, what programs they went to, and so on. We would end up having to answer those calls anyhow. 9 out of 10 times we answered the calls. Understanding their articulation agreements. We have formal articulation agreements. The students would come out of career counseling still not knowing what their options were, and if they had to take special courses within our program, what would they be? What were the options what courses would we need to substitute, and so on? They had no idea, right? And then internships and what was required, and what were different types of internships, and so on. So there's just a whole bunch of different things that we felt just were not being covered in our traditional career counseling. So we decided we needed to do something about it. Right? And about 7 years ago, we started this process. So what do? Well, we put together a 1-hour credit course. And basically we said this course is going to cover all of those goals, all the things that we're having problems with. I want to have a faculty member. In fact, we only have full-time faculty members teach this course. So we put together a 1-hour career orientation course is what we call it. And I found that over the years we've seen the result of it now. Over 5, 6, 7 years now, we can show data, hard data that says this has had a major impact. Okay, so first thing we did is we talked about, okay, who would we want to take this course? Well, in my opinion, everyone needs to take this course. So we started off with anyone that was going to go into our program, in the IT program, had to take this course. Why? Well, it gave me an opportunity to find out who was coming in our program. We could better answer their questions. We could show them other opportunities that were out there as far as the types of jobs that were out there and so on. And our career counselors didn't really know how to use the current job searching tools and what types of jobs were actually IT jobs. If you were to lay, a variety of different jobs up, they couldn't tell you which ones were IT jobs and which ones weren't. So it was really critical that we had everyone go through. Now, we never imagined that we would have high schools take this. So right now, we have 12 feeder high schools, and all 12 feeder high schools have now implemented this 1 credit hour course in their IT high school courses.
Is it face-to-face or is it online also?
This is a blended course. So what we do in the high school, I'll get into a little more in detail, what we do in the high school course is that they actually come to the college for 4 hours on a Friday, usually in the fall semester. And we do the first half of the course there. They remember, it's only 1 credit hour, so it's only 16 contact hours. So they do self-directed exercises for the next 8 hours within their course at the high schools, and then they come back for another 4 hours that we sort of complete the process. Now, I'm going to show you what the process of the course basically involves. But we started off, in a couple high schools. Now we have every single high school in our district takes this. And we're moving now from seniors in high school to juniors, because that's when they make their decisions. So it's mostly juniors now taking this this course. While in high school, and all students coming into our program take it, including returning students, students that work in the field right now, and they want to come back and upgrade their skills. We still feel there's value in this course for them as well.
They have to take it their first semester or first year, or
they have a time prerequisite before they do anything.
Okay.
Because part of the course is that we are going to sit down with them individually and do a student plan. I have 5 kids, and it used to drive me crazy when my kids would tell me, oh, I have to go another semester because my counselor didn't tell me I had to take this course before this course. And most of the time I wanted to shake them like, you can't tell me you're copying. It's all documented and so on. But we sit down with them step by step and we plan out each semester what they're going to take in what order. And what do we base that on? Well, we base it on what they want to get out of the program. So this isn't just a packed course. We say you take this, this, and this. We basically ask them, what are you looking for? Do you want this certification? Do you coming back to learn just upgrade your skills on particular products? Are you going towards a college certification? Do you want a full degree? Do you want industry certification? And we basically do that in the front end, so by the end we can now sit down with their goals and come up with a customized plan for that particular student. And the beauty of it,
still know that that's what they want. They want to take 1 or 2 classes to kind of explore it.
And that's what we do in this class is we teach them how to explore that.
Okay.
So that's part of it. And most of the time we don't finish this class in 2 days. We try to have this go over a portion of the semester. So not only that, but they're now also starting to experience some of the classes. Okay, so that's the idea behind the course itself. So our goal is to provide students with career information. Most students have no idea the different types of jobs that are out there in IT. So one of the things that we could do was actually expose them and show them sites that they can go to. A lot of them have no idea how to look into different careers that are out there. So we use a variety of different tools, and I'll show some of them that we use in this class. But to give them a better perspective of what are the different types of jobs that are out there, what are you facing as far as credentials to get into those jobs, what kind of skills do you need to get into those jobs? You should know that before you start the program. So when you hit those sectors that have some skills, you know what types of things to concentrate on, and especially if you're going to pursue industry certifications, what industry certifications are you going to do? Okay? We also wanted to gather valuable data associated with students entering our program. The data I gathered as a department chair is invaluable. What do I know? Well, in the survey, we asked them, when do you plan on attending class? Just that information alone, I have heads up on all the rest of the department chairs across my campus. Because I know exactly how many students are taking night classes, how many want weekend classes, which students are available to take full-time day classes. So it gives me a forecast into the future of what types of classes I'm going to have to schedule. One of the things I find sort of comical is I'll go to the department chair meetings, and the department chair says, why are your classes always full the day classes start? And they're getting just a deluge of students coming in late to their program. And part of it is students figuring out, what am I supposed to take next semester? Well, they have a plan coming out of this class, exactly which classes they should take in which order in which semester and so on. So I think it helps there. It helps them just a lot of other things as far as data, because I'll show you what we have them do in data collection. Part of what we do in this class is we make them identify 12 jobs that they have some interest in. And we actually look at real jobs that are listed on different websites, in different fields and so on. So would that data be valuable to anyone? How about students leaving the program?
Yeah.
These are current jobs with all the information, and I'll show you what we have them do with it, which is really valuable for students leaving our program. We make that available on an online database. The students looking for jobs now leaving the program are actually being helped by students coming into the program and doing some type of job exploration. So I'll show you what we do with that. But, and we found there's just a lot of other data. We were identified as one of the model programs in the institution last time we went through our accreditation process. Why? We could truly measure student success. How do you traditionally measure student success? Well, you come up with, well, all students must want a degree in our program. Well, how many students completed their degree? Well, we have data that says, no, not all students want a degree from this program. We literally asked them, what were you looking for when you came into our program? So now we know what their goals were. When they complete the program, we can actually now compare their goals coming into the program to their goals leaving the program. So we have a much better way of measuring success. In fact, they've had us adopt this across all our CIT programs over the last 2 years. And one of the reasons is because of just that ability to have a better measurement of student success. And that ability to personally answer questions, and to me, is to welcome students to our institution. You know, research after research after research says the students that feel welcomed at our institution are going to do better. And what's nice is us as full-time faculty members, that's all that teach this course, actually get to sit down with every student as part of the class. It's an assignment in the class to sit and actually do their student plan. And as part of that, I can welcome them to the program as well. I can answer questions first. I can hook them up with people who work in the field that have graduated our program. But it gives them a more personal touch when they come into the program. And I can tell you, I think most students feel more welcome in our programs than in other programs where meeting with a counselor, they have a line out the door trying to share their time with an overload of students. And then content. What do we want to do in this class? What types of things are we going to do? So first thing we do is a self-directed exploration of CIT or information technology careers. So most students, when I come in, I start off by throwing out some different careers that are out there, especially specialization. You heard earlier this morning that there's this big growth and need for IT professionals, right? But is it across the board? If you look at the statistics, is it truly across the board? No. In fact, things like help desk and the entry-level ones and the generic ones are pretty flat. If you look at the statistics, they're flat. But the areas of specialization are exploding, right? Virtualization, storage, security, so on, right? And students need to know that. Not that I'm discouraging necessarily from the other jobs, but they need to know there's a whole array of jobs that are out there that they need to look into and have some idea what someone does as they know a career. So we walk them through some examples of exploration of different careers, and we also show them how to look for jobs nowadays. Where do you look for jobs nowadays? Where else are they going to learn that, by the way? When you're in our program, where else are you going to learn how to look for a job? This is the only opportunity you have to teach them that, right? Where do you look for jobs nowadays? Monster.com? But what if you want to work for a specific organization? What do most organizations do now? They subscribe to a service, and you have a link on your webpage, you go to it. Have you ever noticed you go to most companies and the job listings look the same? Why is that? Well, because it's a service they subscribe to, right? Look at most community colleges as an example. If you go to the help page, help wanted page in most community colleges, they all subscribe to the same service. They all look exactly the same, right? So the point is that we can show them how to actually look for jobs in the modern world, right? And even to use the tools that are going to help them in looking for a job. I mean, how many students have gone into a LinkedIn account, but they don't know what that website can actually do for them? Does anyone use LinkedIn in job search? Yeah. I mean, there's a huge number of tools out there, right? Where else are students to learn about how to use those tools in searching for a job, right? So that's part of what we do in the exploration. We make every single student go in and find at least a dozen jobs that they have some interest in. And then I can sit down with them also and discuss what those different jobs are. So they may not know everything about those jobs, right? And in some cases, what I have the opportunity is I can bring ex-students in. I have a bunch of students who are interested in pen testing. There are a bunch of students interested in one of our most popular programs right now is managing mobile devices. Well, I have 2 students that work for a bank in Chicago, and that's all they do. They manage mobile devices. And you want to talk about motivating students in a specific area. I said this a couple weeks ago. I brought the ex-students come in and talk about what they do in managing mobile devices. And I have a whole bunch of students now. And by the way, there's a lot of jobs. Almost every large corporation out there now has people that specialize in that. You think, well, really, can you keep someone busy in managing mobile devices? Well, think about that today. A large bank, a large healthcare organization, how do most people connect back to their resources? Their smartphones, tablets, and so on. Who supports that? Yeah, by the way, it's not the health desk that supports it. I knew it. They're usually specialists that support it. Why? How many different versions of phones are out there, right? And different tools in each of them and so on, and how they link back to things like your email systems and all of your corporate resources, right? So it enables us to do that. Second thing is, we have them do a self-directed exploration of certifications. Now that would seem, has anyone looked at how many certifications are out there nowadays? Can you imagine going into that as a student having no idea what the certifications are? Right? So part of what we do is we have a hit list of, and by the way, I try to tell students, we've done study for over the last 10 years, we've gathered data on our graduates. What do you think the number one indicator is of someone getting a good job out of our program? Success indicator. It's not how many certificates, it's not that they completed the degree, it's usually how many certifications did they complete by time. And our data shows that year after, the first year I got there, I was like, that can't be. It's got to be grade point average, it's got to be something else, right? Second year, it was even greater expanded, saying that the number of certifications really identifies the student as the most successful. And I can tell you over 10 years now we've been gathering that data, and it's by far the number one indicator of successful students being able to getting jobs in the targeted areas that they were looking for. All right? But part of that is there's more than just knowing the certifications. Students are going to do far better on tests if they've learned they've got to go in and do some homework about these certifications. I mean, we've had students show up for tests and not know how much the test costs, how much time they have, how many questions, what are they going to be tested on, what are the types of questions they need to be prepared to answer, is there a practical portion, are they actually have to do something? Tests have changed over the years, right? It's far more complicated, and some of these tests are very expensive. Anyone take like CSSIA or how much is that exam?
$600.
$600. How long is it? 3 hours. Well, if you're planning on going in for a 60-minute test and you find out you're going to do that for 3 hours, what's the big difference, right? So part of what we do is not only show them what certifications are out there, but also have them do their homework and gather information about that test. How do I prepare for that test? How much is it going to cost me? Are there discounts available? How do I get those discounts? Right? But all of that information, I think, is a really valuable thing to know before you start going into the process. And it's a good time for me to shake them up a little bit and say, look, when you finish 8 courses, take the test. Don't wait till the last minute, because if you wait, you're not going to finish all of them. If you want to finish 2 or 3 or 4 certifications, you need to take them as you're going through the program, right? So that's a good time for us to emphasize things like that. So we have them actually do an exploration of the certifications that are out there to fill out a national matrix. I'll share a matrix with you. Finally, everything I have here, I've got all the assignments and so on. If you want them, I put them up in Wigio. Anyone use Wigio? www.wigio.com. WIGGIO.com. I can have you join my group and you can have access to everything you want. Right? All right. The next thing we do is this personal planning. So we literally have them do a survey. So we have them do a student interest survey, and we also have them do a, what's the other survey that Cooter does? We do like a self-assessment of your skills. What are you strong in? What are you not as strong in, right? We actually have them do both of them. And then based on that, we help them complete a personalized plan. And that plan identifies, okay, what college programs do they want to complete? Do they want to get a full degree? And by the way, while they're going towards that degree, they want to get the stackable certificates that are associated with that degree. So we identify within the college itself, what are their goals? What kind of things they want to complete within our programs? And then we also ask them, okay, what industry certifications, from what you've learned in this class, what industry certifications would be most appropriate for the types of positions that you're interested in applying for? And we actually mark that also. We collect that electronically. So I actually now know, on average, how many students or how many exams do most students identify. I have all that data now that I can look through as I'm evaluating new classes that come into our program. It also tells me things like, are certain certifications becoming more popular than others? Is that being reflected by the job listing? Because remember, they've done this after they've gone in and looked at the jobs that they want. Well, we have to dissect it and find out what certifications are they asking for. So we found over the years certifications that have gone up and down. Right? You've seen like in the Microsoft certification. At one time, Microsoft was way up there, right? Everyone wanted the Microsoft MPICT, and what's happened? Well, they've lost a lot of their luster, right? And other ones have gone up and down and so on. But you can see some of that from the data we collect with this. And then finally, we want students to be familiar with articulation. One of the beauties that we have as community colleges is that we can put a lot of flexibility into our program. If I know a student's going to go to University of Illinois from here, then I know I might want to waive a couple of our technology courses and have them take some advanced math classes and maybe some advanced programming classes. In our case, that's what it would happen to be. Right? If you're going somewhere else, like if you're going to DeVry, well, I might want to take out a whole track of certain classes and put a different track in because they are probably going to want to take like CCMP at their third and fourth year rather than their first and second year, even though we offer those courses in the first and second year. But it makes more sense for them to do that, right? So it gives me a lot more leverage when we sit down and do their plan if I know that they're going to transfer to another institution. I can also evaluate their dual credit. So if they came from a local high school or a high school somewhere out of our district, I can look into giving them dual credit. In that case alone, it may pay for this 1 credit hour course, right? They find out they don't have to take 2, 3, 4 courses. That's a big benefit to them. Right, and then they have to have a better understanding of articulation agreements and then internships. We cherish our internships. When we establish internships as a faculty, we look for revolving internships. Right? We know a student's only going to be there for 16 weeks or 8 weeks. Right? But we want to make sure that we're giving them students that are prepared for the type of work that they're going to face in that internship. So we will say you have to complete these specific courses before you're eligible for this internship, right? Because we want to make sure companies are happy with our interns. We also want to make sure our interns are happy with it. We don't want interns out there assessing screens on desktops, right? We want them to do things that are going to actually prepare them for the workforce, right? So it's a great opportunity for me to sit down with them and actually go through what the different internships are, what the requirements are. Okay? So here's the first exercise we have them do. So basically we have them go through and do a collection. We have them work in teams in a lot of cases. We find out what their interests are and then we let them sort of work together. And we share a bunch of different websites with them. So yeah, we do the monster.com. We do career builders. We do the traditional ones that are out there. But we also explain to them how most companies advertise. And not only that, but we go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics and we show them, do you know that IT workers make different salaries in different vertical markets? By the way, anyone know what's the highest paid vertical market for IT workers? If you want to make the most money, all you're interested in is making the most money. What industry should you work in? No? By the way, finance is low. Yeah. Believe it or not, in security, you think that finance would be way up there, but it's not. Security? Pharmaceuticals will make twice as much as someone working in in education. Right? You get all that data. I have a bunch of data out there if you want our links to all the. You can go to the annual salary surveys that a lot of these organizations do. They break it down by industry, by specializations, education level, and so on. Right? But pharmaceuticals is one of the best. What's one of the lowest? Education. Yeah. So, and that's a good time for me to tell them that you're looking for high stress, low stress. What type of environment are you going to be comfortable working in? A lot of things are important, right? Because an IT job can be totally different in different departments, right? In fact, sometimes I'll bring students on field trips for this and show them what a high stress environment is, right? What's a high stress environment? Anyone? Something as an IT worker would be very stressful?
Some type of on-call.
Okay. Right? Third party support? Yeah. Can be, because you're like, it's awesome that we got one. We have casinos in there. Believe it or not, that is a really high stress job. I mean, I would not want to have to work in those environments. Right? Financial environments can be very stressful, right? Medical can too. I'll tell you, it really opens the eyes of students when you bring them into a big medical facility and let them see a server farm for the first time. They've never seen anything like that. to see what kind of environment they're going to work in, right? And then to show them the other types of equipment and environment that they will be responsible for. It's really an eye-opener. And again, where else do you have this opportunity to do it? This is really the only type of course I think it's most appropriate to do this in. So we actually have, you can go to this link, which I'll put up here, but it's creator. I use Zoho. Anyone familiar with Zoho? Yeah, I use Zoho. It's like similar to Google Apps, Google Office and so on. But it's got a great little database. On my database, you can publish to collect data and so on. So this link is up on Wikio, and I'll sign you in afterwards if you want to access. But you just click on this link. What's that?
Do you use the paid version?
Yes, I use the paid version. Yeah. I use college paid for it. It's not easy. So this is what it looks like. So they brings them right to here. They put their name in. They got to do 12 of these. So I can actually have a little program script in there to check that they did 12. They did 15. I give them a little extra star or whatever. But you know, I basically want them to do 12 jobs that they would have some interest in. So they give you their name. They give you the title of the job. That's now teaching them some of the lingo. The U.S. the federal government uses totally different terminology than the medical industry. You know, how many of you looked at job listings? I scratched my head like, where did they come up with that name? That has nothing to do with, you know, what the job title really is, right? But I have to actually go and look at job titles, where it's offered, if there was an email contact. Remember, why would I want that? Because this data I'm going to get to people graduating my program that are interested in the same types of jobs. These are current listings. These aren't just things we're making up, right? So it's helping, you know, students on the other end a little bit. The company website, if there was one, a link thing. Okay, what education level do they require for this job? What certifications are required for the job? Right? They can cut and paste the job description if they want. By the way, they can print this out as a report. Now they have the 12 jobs that they identified as 30 minutes. The skills requirement. This is really important. You know, I heard some discussion going on in the hallway earlier, like, you know, well, in Washington, D.C., if you don't have a bachelor's degree, you can't get a job in this area. Right? And then other people from other areas saying when you need a certification. I'll tell you, I think it boils down to the skill level. That skill boils down to how good you are at these skills. And what types of skills do you need? So I had them go in and actually pull out the skills that can identify and document them, as well as the knowledge areas. So what kinds of things do you need to be knowledgeable about as well? Okay? But they have to complete this for 12 jobs. And then I even ask them experience level. This may not be a job. Realistically, it may not be a job you're going to be able to get out of this program. And I'll be honest with them. That you may have to start here and work your way up to that. However, I also tell them that all employers can ask them to do it. They're asking them to move, right? But they may not get it. So if you're believing with the right credentials and some experience, there's a potential you can get a job, even though it says it wants 6 years experience or 4 years experience or whatever. Right? And then, of course, most students are interested in this. What's the salary being offered? Right? And I think it blows students away when they see some of these. Right? How many of you have been to a job site recently and looked at some of the jobs salaries? Right, so if you go to USA.jobs.com, all the government federal jobs, first of all, what is the security worker called in the federal government? Remember, this is government speech. InfoSec, right? So InfoSec specialist, right? So if you look up InfoSec, you're going to get pages of jobs. Pages of them, right? What's the mid-range for an InfoSec? Oh, let's say starting range in the federal government. Mid-50s, okay, right? Middle range, mid-70s, and then the high range one could be require a bachelor's degree or above. 106, 104 is where they typically invest in that, right? And you go up and look. I mean, I go on this website on a regular basis. I know these pretty well. It's a link that I have all students go to if they're looking for a job with the federal government. So it gives them an idea, you know, what are the salaries. That's vastly different, isn't it? I mean, you wouldn't think there'd be that much of a range in these types of jobs, but there really are, right? But every student's required to do 12 of these. I will tell you the trend is most students do 15. They're not asked to do 15. I don't ask any of them to do 15. And I have some students do 30, 40 of these because they can take them with them as they go, you know, and they'll have 9 years later they complete the program. Right? So that's the first assignment. Then the second assignment
Do you put those in a library for your graduating students?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, great.
And it's easy to do with restricted zones. There's an a reporting utility you can use, and you can sort them by student. I mean, I can sort all the data a ton of different ways. What are all the jobs out there right now asking for CPA? You know, what's asking CSSIA, so on. So it's some really good data that can insert in. Right? And these are some of the things that we cover on the script. But, at this point, we're trying to really emphasize exploration. It's not done when you're done here. You want to complete this. You start to learn more about, like you said, they're not going to know everything after one class. So they continue to go through the program. They should have a much better idea how to do this exploration. Right? Credentials. We're putting an emphasis early on. You have to get these certifications if you want to get into this industry. It's going to just improve your chances greatly. Right? And then pathways. Are they going to have to take something after us? Like, is there, should they go on to a four-year institution? Are they going to have to go on eventually to a graduate school? So on. Some of these degrees, some of these positions, we're going to be honest with them and say, you want to start in this field, but you can continue your education. In a lot of cases, they'll pay for your continuing education. Right? The second assignment is the certification review. So we basically bring you all of the different websites. Right? I share all the links to all the websites. We typically have the top 12 certifications that we identify that the program prepares you for. But then we also go into other ones. So we do the Cisco Academy. We're a big Cisco Academy. We definitely prepare people for CSAT and CCNA. We can also prepare people for CCNP. We've had about a dozen, maybe 16 CCIEs come out of the program over the last 10 years. So to get an idea that we went into the Microsoft certification. VMware, just been huge in that area. I can't tell you, on our advisory committee, we must have at least 5 or 6 companies now that said, if you have students that finish the VCP, we have this many jobs open right now. It's, of all the areas I know of, it's the one that has the most jobs in the Chicago area available. Right? So that's big, and then Citrix would be right next to it, especially the apps. Zen apps work and 3 other ones that's very popular now in the Chicago area. Of course, Linux. And the fundamentals and links for everything, all the security ones, including CDH, Security Plus, CISSP, the SAN certifications, and so on. We talk about CSSIA and the foundations, and almost everyone is going to need to come out with at least A+. Right? And then you build upon that and so on. But we also talk about, as we're on these, what kind of discounts do you get? How do you sign up for a test? Right? We put together study groups. We're going to have this many people through this at a certain time. We have a study group. We have faculty members volunteer to help the study group preparing for specific certifications that we're going for. EMC, and I probably missed a couple in here, but all the wireless ones we do, CWNA, CWSP, some of the big ones, and we've also done some of the database certifications. But those are, we try to bring them out to the website and actually see them. And I actually on the website have the matrix that we use. And then we also have handouts that we use. This is an example of a handout that shows them which classes prepare them for which certification. Hopefully it's making the program more clear to them that, all right, after these 2 classes, you can take this certification. Then you're going to go into this class. Be prepared to take a certification afterwards. And he gives them sort of a plan, a game plan, of when to be prepared to take which certifications, and they have some money saved up, or let someone helping them pay for these when they can expect they have the cost of these come up. Right, so that's we have several of these. We have for Microsoft, we have for Cisco, and so on. We have no handout that we give them with it. And the matrix itself looks like this. This is what video looks like. I'll add you to the group. And you can see here's what the certification matrix looks like. I'm going to open this just to give you an idea. But I put them all up here. All these assignments up here if you want. Okay, so it sort of looks like, and they have to go through and identify these different certifications. Alright, so we give them the website, so initially go to them, and then they have to record a description of the certification, the cost, the amount of time, how many questions are on, what type of questions, are there practical components to it, and then the exam numbers. Do you think this is valuable when they go on to the rest of their program? This goes in their little portfolio when they're ready to take the certification. They have everything. They don't go around searching for the stuff, right? Not only that, they can bring this home to their parents and say, in some cases, high school students, you know, I want to take these 3 or 4 certifications, and one or two in college for me to pay for these certs as part of it, right? And if you build that in, I think it really makes the value of the education much better. So, and we have a couple pages of these that we go through. But we try to align into what we teach in our programs. And then, while I'm doing this, I try to, of course, motivate them to take some of these. How many have seen the new CompTIA cast promotion, video promotion? They did a great job of this. CompTIA, I mean, this was one of the tops I've seen now. Never played through. Do we have sound?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, hero? You did a nice job on that.
Right?
It's been motivated for on series. I think this is really for this video really impact students. And how many of the scenes did you know?
There's so many versions of it.
Yeah, there's really I'm not going to show it. It takes quite a bit. But I mean, just to show them, yeah, it's a really good one. Just to show them that most people can change jobs in their lifetime nowadays. It's not, you know, like things were before. What our competition is, yeah. So I mean, it's a good place to show that. So I typically show that as they're doing what is the second one. Then the third assignment is review of career interest. So I actually have, if you're interested, a tool that was created about 7 or 8 years ago by NWCET, which is right here in the West Coast, right out of Seattle. It was a really nice interest survey for people going into IT. And it sort of, again, gives them an idea of what career areas would they be best at based on their personal career. And then how many has used Cooter? Anyone use Twitter, career exploration systems? So they have a really good self-assessment tool. It also helps in this area of identifying what types of things would they end up being best at. And then, of course, at this point, I'm going to also share with them the types of internship that we have available with our program in different areas. And they have to have a plan to get into these internships. They have to earn the internship. Most of our internships are paid. Almost all of them are paid. But we, again, really cherish those internships. We want to make sure if we put you together responsibility of reflecting good back on our program so the next student has that same opportunity. And I think right now we have 16 or 17 companies that have revolving internships that we work with. So it's really built over the years. Our internship coordinator has done a great job.
How many students do you have in your program?
We have about 360. This semester we had our highest enrollment ever this spring. So I'm not sure what the final numbers will be, but typically we run 300 some. That's the next assignment. One thing I think is really important with this is that they actually have to meet with the faculty one-on-one. They have to make an appointment, go in on an office hour, they bring in the assignment that's pre-prepared, and then they go over it with the faculty member. So any kind of problems that are involved in it, they can address it at the time, right? And we also, by the way, do a little satisfaction survey at the end. What do you think the number one identifier things that they like about the program? A lot of them, when they hear you have to take this, they hate it. Like, what do you mean you got to take a class on prayer orientation? And at the end, they tell us that they think it was one of the best things that you could do in the program.
Much higher success rate, I would imagine, just because you have it.
Yeah, and it's, I got some information on data here that we collected as part of our credential certification process, and even the institution's accreditation process, they use this as a model. And we found in our retention fire that we have a much better way of measuring success. That's one of the things that our administration really appreciates, is that we can show what an entry-level student said they're going to do and what they've actually done. A lot of times they end up taking many more certifications and multiple degrees that they didn't initially plan on taking. So that obviously a problem for the program. But my favorite part of this is it's impacted our program with our high schools. All of these high schools basically now offer this class as part of their high school CET programs. So anything in IT. So we've now expanded this to all our manufacturing programs, all of our CAD design programs, our GIS programs. We now have a career orientation for each one of those. And we've been implementing them over the last 5 years, and we noticed almost one after another we see that the enrollment has increased, we see the retention increase, and the number of students completing what they said they did when they come in is pretty accurate. But I should say pretty specifical.
Do your instructors meet with the high school students?
Okay, and the high school students, here's how we do it. If they are planning to transfer to Moraine, then one of our faculty members will meet with them. We've also met with DeVry and some other ones and said, would you want to participate in this? And if we want to meet with you, it's still part of an assignment. Do you have an advisor or a faculty member? We prefer a faculty member that can sit down and complete their student plan with them. So then you will actually, if you go somewhere else, because the high schools aren't all going to go with us. Right. And we have to accommodate if they want to go somewhere else, right? And this is done for the good of the students too. It's not just for for promoting our program. But yeah, they have to sit down with someone. Now, if they don't, their high school teacher will sit down with them and help them complete it. But in most cases, the college instructor do for them. So, if they come to Moraine, then we definitely do them.
Do you have a good collaborative effort between your administration and the faculty within the department? Because like at my college, they won't even give us the student educational plan. They won't let us see it. They won't let us touch it. They won't give it to us.
We don't call this the college's student plan. This is our student plan. This is our student plan with our department.
No, I understand, but it would be nice if counseling would share.
Well, I can tell you, we've had huge support. We've actually adopted this across multiple departments now. So it's not just our department. Our administration's seen the value of it. In fact, like I said, when North Central did our accreditation last time, they identified this as one of the STAR programs. So of course
Were
that's
you
going to
guys
affect
willing to
retention.
share your model with, other
Sure.
institutions that have stingy administrators?
Unenlightened.
Yes, I mean, I would be willing to, I would imagine our Vice President of Academic Affairs is a big fan of what we're doing with this, and our President is also.
So would we just email you for that or no?
Yeah, you can email us. So we have collected data over the years with this. We've been doing this now for 7 years. First thing we find is that almost verbatim we hear students feel that they're more informed about career options, program options, and so on. So they are much more satisfied with the program. It's increased the number of certification degrees and certificates earned. We've recently seen them go up. And you'll see a flattening at some point, but we've been instituting this in other programs, and we say the same thing. In CAD, we're now seeing students complete more of the certifications and more of the other credentials that are necessary. And then manufacturing, same thing, electronics, and virtual management, the same thing. One of the things that we've noticed is our program is one of the highest retention rates in the college right now. And I think it's not just of taking this class. If you just look at all the data, what are the things that impact retention? One is that a student feels welcome. And our job in that class is to make them feel welcome, right? I mean, you want to sit down with them, tell them what the program is all about, how can we help them? And now they have a person throughout the entire time at our college that they can come to and ask questions or whatever. I think that impacts retention. Plus they know what their goals are now. Hopefully, if they complete this course, they know what their goals are and when they need to complete their things and so on, right? And then the thing that we were really surprised in was the buy-in that we've had from our high schools. In fact, we actually have high schools outside our district that have adopted this. And they're working with community colleges that don't have the program, but are using something else. So the result is that
how have your faculty, responded to basically an increased workload here?
they pay for it. It's a class.
Well, okay, all right, that's true. They just want you
In fact, here's what I heard from the faculty, especially program coordinators and department chairs. I am swamped all day long answering questions and doing this, and I'm not getting paid anything extra for that. Now they are getting paid.
Okay.
In fact, what we've actually been able to do is we make this class now a dual credit class. So every high school that I teach this class to, I get a half an ECH for that as well. And I mean, they don't do this in any other program across our campus. They don't pay our college faculty in teaching a class with high school faculty. This is the only exception they've done here. But they've done it because they've seen the impact that it's had. All right, and again with internships, I think this has helped us in internships to be setting expectations of our early on. So the students that are, first of all, they compete now for the internships. So they're going to get a better person when based on that competition. But we've also seen because of that the internship program has grown dramatically. Right. Part of that also is that because of the growth, we're able to hire someone that manages internships, and that really explodes. And we have 17 companies. I think we have this last semester like 60, close to 60 students in internships. So that's been a big boom, and I think part of it is this. And then finally, ultimately getting jobs. I think we try to be a National Science Foundation Center. First of all, we're supposed to help in other institutions placing their students. But in order to do that, I think we need to set a good example, and we're able to, first of all, better track what types of jobs they're looking for, and then also better plan things like job fairs. If I know that we have 60 people interested in going into virtualization and Citrix and things like that, I know what companies to invite. They're looking for those people to a job fair. I'm not just blindly selecting who to invite for things like that. So I think those things have been impacted by it as well. So that's the program. I thought I would just show one other video.
I have a question for that.
Yeah.
How do you handle, most colleges can't possibly cover with courses all the different stuff that you might go through in this orientation class in terms of having an actual class for that certificate, for that degree or certification. So How do you
We
manage?
cluster them. So we have 3 degrees that are, I call IT related, and probably 7 certificates. All of them would be in this one, the orientation IT groups. And then our CAD, mechanical drafting.
No, even just in the IT part, there's all these different certifications that you have up there. And I don't know if you're lucky enough to offer courses that prepare students for all of those certificates. I'm at a smaller community college.
No, we actually do offer them.
Okay.
Yeah, we have
So you manage everything, all of this management that you're doing is within the confines of all the courses that you teach. So, okay, I got it.
What's the population of your college?
As far as what? Age-wise, our average student is 27.
Like the 28,000, 50,000. At your college, on your campus?
19,000 students in credit courses, and I think we have another 6,000 non-credit.
And how many faculty in your computer science department?
I think total we're at 18.
Full-time?
Yeah, well, yeah, 18.
18 full-time?
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you have to fight for FTE to support your programs, or, because I don't know about.
The funding is different than, the funding different than ours in California.
What do you mean fight for FTE?
Well, because, like, for instance, we had to cut a lot of our computer science classes.
Oh, because you have a flat budget and you have to spend more
Full-time
money.
equivalent students.
Yeah, see, ours, we still full-time equivalent students, but our funding comes from 3 sources. It's supposed to be a third from students, a third from local property taxes, and a third from the state.
Yeah.
It's more like 5% from the state, probably 40% from local taxes, and now it's literally getting close to 60% that the students are paying. But it's still reasonable. I mean, our tuition's still only, I think like $90-some a credit hour. So we're still under $100 a credit hour.
Yeah. It just sounds like you have a lot fewer hurdles.
Yeah, our model is different.
No, so you're not from California?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was wondering how you got, how you were able to teach high school, because most of our instructors are not.
Well, ours are in. So they made exceptions. So we've been doing it for years, but I do a lot of bring high school students in for tours and things like that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So ours started like that. Ours started as tours, 4 hours that we sort of go through the front end of this, because we just thought it was a good fee to charge for program. But then we were able to get dual credit for it. So we calculated some dollars.
Dual credit.
And based on that dual credit, they don't really pay us verbatim for teaching the course. They give us something for putting in a time in the dual credit program. So that's the way they handle that.
So I was going to mention we are out of time.
Oh, I meant, okay. Well, I'm sure you Well, if you want to see this video, I'm going to forward it real quick.
And then you're going to show how to connect, how to log in and get your info, please.
Yes. So we actually had a video feed from the National Science Foundation come out. One of our a lot of hits if we're from the ad program. Yeah.
The first time I got to play with computer hardware, I was 7 or 8. I just started piecing things together, plugging things in, and eventually it all worked. The first time I ever had a computer when I was about 5, I remember my dad building it. When he found out I was messing with all this stuff and learning how to put these things together and make them work, he encouraged me to get into IT. I started out in a 4-year school, but I wasn't really enjoying electrical engineering as much as I thought I would, so I came here to Moraine, changed my major, and I've been here ever since.
So the interface is actually through a web page.
The program is called IT Security Specialist. It's an associate's program. The first thing I noticed about the program is it's very highly technical and very hands-on, and I like that.
So now that we've narrowed down our target, we want to specifically look at that target and find out exactly what vulnerabilities there might be on there.
What I like most about IT and cybersecurity is how fast it grows, and you're always learning. It's hard to balance school and work. I work about 20 hours a week. Kind of always have to have a balance in your life. For me, it's technology and being out in the elements. I've always loved nature.
I'm kind of fan, but you just look up Rain Valley, John Hanson. They go through his whole background and so on. But he now works for Dell Secure Works as a pen tester, and he was the captain of our cybersecurity team. And like I said, he dropped out of one of the state universities, was working at a car dealership for 6 months, and then he had to come back to college and paid off for him. All right, for Livio, all you need to do if you want that information, you just have to add you to the group. But all I think you need is your email address and password. So if you're interested, just put in your email address, click on invite, and then it will give you a link that you can put a password in and get all these documents in. Okay. It'll only put you in that group, so you don't have to search for stuff. Everything's right there.